Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Nick Roy. He's the Adair County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Joanna.
Now, Nick, you can hardly pick up a farm magazine or any farm article and not read about the concern for the high nitrogen prices coming up. And we've had a lot of livestock producers concerned about this, but I know recently you've given a presentation and have some data about a way that we might be able to kind of mitigate some of those problems.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern among our livestock farmers. How are they going to supply the nutrients that their forages need to grow and produce forage for their livestock? And so if we start looking at a bale of hay currently, what's its nutrient value worth? Well, it figures out based on current fertilizer prices, there's about $38 worth of value in a 1,000-pound bale of hay. Another way of looking at this is during a 120-day winter feeding period, a typical 40-cow beef herd is going to produce just over $2,000 in value of manure. And so there's an opportunity there to try to recycle some of those nutrients. In recent years, fence line feeders and feeding pads have become very popular. Of course, they are going to capture a portion of that manure that's produced during the winter time, but we have to be very conscious and work diligently to get that manure spread. And so what's one in particular Adair County farmer has done in recent years is he has begun bale grazing, and that's where we set all the hay bales out in the pasture in the beginning of the winter feeding season, and then use electric wire to give those cattle access to just a few bales at a time. And so what we have seen is his soil fertility levels move from the low range into the high range for both phosphorus and potassium, thus eliminating the need for him to apply synthetic fertilizers.
Yeah. Now, Nick, I know that he's probably been working with this for several years. Does he put that hay in a different place each year to try to improve the nutrients there, or is it mainly in just one spot?
And so it's all across the pasture area. So bales are typically spaced 150 to 200 feet apart. With that spacing, we can minimize the damage that we do to the pastures. However, if we choose to space the bales closer, like 50 feet apart, we maximize our nutrient distribution. We can build fertility really quick in smaller areas. The downside of that is we will have severe damage on that existing forage base. Now, sometimes that's not a bad thing if it's an area that's got a lot of broom sedge or other undesirable species of plants. We can use this strategy to actually renovate that area. We can go back the following summer, maybe grow a sedan grass, and then the following fall and reseed that area in a desirable cool season grass.
Absolutely. And Nick, unfortunately, we don't have the crystal ball to know how much winter we have left, but there's still time to do some of these strategies that might help with just a little bit. And every little bit helps, especially in a situation like this where we have to get creative about nutrients and how we feed.
Indeed. Just even if it's only 30 days, that's still an opportunity to build some nutrients in an area. Maybe instead of going across the whole farm, maybe you just select an area of the field that needs to be renovated anyway and set yourself up to grow some summer annuals in that area this summer without any fertilizer applied.
Now, Nick, if people are watching at home and they have questions, or maybe they want to look to the future because, they might want to develop a better grazing plan or maybe a better manure storage or feeding facility. Do we have information available at the university to kind of help with that process?
We have a vast array of publications available at any county extension office across the state. You may also check out our Kentucky Forage's YouTube website. You'll see the presentation that you mentioned earlier that we give at the Cattlemen's Convention, as well as many other presentations from some of our university specialists on how we can cope with higher fertilizer prices this year.
All right, Nick. Well, I certainly appreciate you joining me today. And as Nick mentioned, you can watch his entire presentation at the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association meeting. We'll put the link below so that you can find that easily. And we appreciate you watching the Farm and Home Show today.